Yep, check. Mute your mic, please.
Mute your mic as in press mute.
Alright, so the link is out. All the guests are in the house.
Nah, click on your link for my liquor brother pre that slap bro, we no need that. And the next thing them type of song they are listening online, what kind of thing that some big man pose up on them profile and a put chat to a small child. Watch yourself on social media when you a post boxes, no do nothing too wild. What if your liquor brother said a post ya? What if your bro dead in a crime video ya? What if your little sister fi take a one pic and it a put up everywhere like it's a poster? Before me share the post, the pic, I ask myself what if I nah comment, I nah go click me. Before me ask what if I nah comment, I nah go click me. Before me ask what if so before you share the post, the link, just ask yourself what if yeah. When you're there online, make it a new day at the rhyme. Keep up with the time. Broadcasting commissioner remind you.
Full of flavor, no if or no maybe. Malta me crave on a daily. I couldn't ask for a better cold glass. Coffee can't pass from this. My Malta, my pocket with me. You know me got it with me. I feel have a bucket for myself. Yesterday the shop locked, so today me come back. 2 new flavors from the shop. Me say me see it and me grab it and me love it and buy it. My mommy take it and she pull it and try it. It's a matter in the morning, afternoon or night. And she finish it, she don't need no help. Coffee or vanilla, the Jamaican original. Have it with me lunch and my dinner. Ginseng with the ginger make you settle and you simmer. Good for the baller and the singer. Make you feel good and it tastes real nice. Better when cool, so we put it on ice. Take a sip once, if you take a sip twice. Mother full of flavor for life. Mother full of flavor for life.
All right, check. Greetings. Welcome. The Chopping Block is back in full effect. We have a star lineup this evening, all right? Star lineup, and we have thousands of persons joining us from all over the world. George Pugh, big up yourself. Kingsley Clark, I see you in the building. I see Kingsley Clark in the building. Who else we got? Andrew Edwards, big up yourself. Philip Edwards, big up yourself. Daniel McFarlane, you're in the building. Marjorie Stewart, good to see ya. Jade Emerald, big up yourself. And the good JJ Mack, we see you in the building. So we got a full house this evening, folks. As we promised last week, we're coming back bigger and better. Elon Parkinson is in the building. Mr. Subi himself, Mr. Vegas, is in the building. And the warrior herself, last but not least, Venetia. They call her Ven. She's in the building. So tell a friend, tweet a friend, call a friend, and tell a friend we're on, we're live. The Chopping Block is back in full effect. Warren Brooks, big up yourself. So spread the word. You know that movie, right? Warren, I see you in the building. Colleen, you're in the building. Nikki, good to see you. Magnus Williams, Atlanta representing. Mary J, I see you. Checking for sound. Quality. Tell your friend we're back in full effect. So we have a big topic this evening to discuss, and we have a host of people to help us get all the information we need and to guide us through a myriad of subject matters this evening. Mr. Vegas is in the building. Venetia Phelps is in the building. And the great Elon Parkinson is in the building. So we try to get a diverse crew so we can, flesh out what's happening. Everybody is familiar with what's happening on social media. It's been blown into a frenzy for the last few weeks because of comments made by various folks. I think it started from the Prime Minister making a comment with regards to the musical contents in music and the connection to crime and violence. And that triggered a host of response from various sectors of society, particularly the music fraternity. So we have Subi in the building, and Mr. Vegas weighed in on the issue. He has a viewpoint that we want to ventilate as well. Venetia Phelps is no stranger. Let me put these folks up on the screen as we we introduce. So let me first start with the ladies, because as you know, we play reverence to the ladies. So ladies first. Miss Venetia Phelps is in the building. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Way past my bedtime, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. So, folks, you know, it's not one of the easiest tasks to get Ven up past her bedtime, but, you know, she's obliging us and we appreciate it. Mr. Vegas, Mr. Subi himself is in the building. Greetings, sir.
Hail, brother. Hail, brother. Thanks.
Blessings, blessings. And we have, last on this occasion, but not least, Elon Parkinson. No stranger to the block. He's always been with us and always willing to share his point of view on various issues. Elon, welcome. How you doing?
Hi, good evening, and thank you for having me. Hi, Venetia. Vegas.
Big up, brother. Big up, brother.
Hi,
Alright.
Hi, Mr. Vegas.
Perfect, perfect. So now that we have everybody on big screen, and we have the audience out there, thousands of people coming through to view what we have to say on the matter. The topic that's hot on the streets now is the comments made by the Prime Minister a few weeks ago, and I think all of us are familiar with what the impact is on music in our society. I think part of the response from Vegas recently is that we should not be ducking our responsibilities. We should be more so taking responsibility. Mr. Vegas, I want you to start. I want to start with you because I believe that your perspective on the issue is deep and one that is coming from somebody who understands the industry. You're a musician yourself, successful musician. You've toured all over the world and you would have experienced a lot of stuff that others have experienced before and can speak from a point of view of experience. Talk to us about why is it that you choose to cut against the grain, for lack of a better term. You know, a lot of entertainers are going one direction and all of a sudden here come Vegas, boom, opposite direction. Talk to us about your experience with regards to the violence and music.
Yeah, first and foremost, big up yourself. And thanks for inviting me on the program on this important subject. We're getting a little bit of latency, I think, from your end. A little bit of scratching going on there.
From my end? Okay, cool. We'll fix that.
Yeah. So, on this issue, to what the Prime Minister said.
Yes.
I'm still trying to figure out what he said wrong. I listened to the piece a few times just to make sure that I'm not missing anything that he said. And what I think is happening, I think a lot of people out there, they're running with this narrative that the Prime Minister or the government is fighting against dancehall or blaming dancehall, solely blaming dancehall or putting the responsibility of crime and violence in the society on dancehall. And that is not, excuse me, what I heard when I listened to the piece. You understand? As a matter of fact, when I listened to the piece, he didn't even say anything about dancehall. He was speaking about the lyrical contents that we are putting forward as artists. And of course, I may not be in our world the right person to speak on these issues because I'm an outcast. Understand? But you ask me why I talk about it, because the people that are accepted by society are accepted in the dancehall world, are accepted in our Jamaica here. Them not gonna talk about it. So who are gonna talk about it to create a balance? I say, yo, I could look and hear what the man I say. And see if we are contribute to what is going on. Is there a surge? Is there any studies being done that are pointing to what is happening? Are they interviewing any of the youths them where them I get, where I go to jail, where I go to prison? Any youth them I catch, we're involved in violence. Are they being interviewed and the youth them basically tell them, say, yo, them thing I will listen to, them people I inspire with. If that's the case, then they have to call it out and we have to address such issues. We don't know the data or the statistics where the government are look on. We don't interview none of the little youth them where I get catch, in are involved in a crime or violence. So why would just make so much noise and not really listen to what the man I say?
Right. So because one of the things that we've noticed is that sometimes people tend to listen to invoke a response, but they're not listening to really understand what is being said. Elon, how you view what the Prime Minister said? We not seem to be hearing Elon. You might need to unmute.
Sorry.
Yes.
He didn't say anything new, and he didn't say anything that political leaders, leaders in civil society have said before. And so it's a matter of putting into context what was said in Parliament and understanding why we are here, right? Now, anybody in the music fraternity who feels blindsided by the comment in a day and an age such as this is obviously not really a member of the Jamaican society, right? Because it is palpably clear that, persons are inspired by the gun lyrics, the violence that is laced within the lyrics, right? And it also acts as a kind of confirmation for the ways they think, the violent ways they think and act in relation to certain social circumstances, because that's what the music reinforces, right? Now, let us understand something. It is not only the music that inspires people to do violence, right? However, let us understand the context of the society that we live in, right? For years, we have underinvested in education, right? And so what that means is that we're not getting a population, right, coming out of school that is, at a level of education where they are able to essentially think for themselves, right? And so there are vessels. There are vessels that can be easily swayed one way or the other, right?
Right.
And out of that knowledge, for us who are older and more responsible and have the benefit of travel and experience with other cultures, and we read more, we should understand, right? Therefore, that we are, by and large, speaking to fragile minds. And it is not only in terms of our music, right? It is in terms of our politics. It is in terms of even the way we put together public service announcements, right? For people to understand, to carry out a particular action, right? We need to understand the level of education within the society, how people process information. Do they take the information literally, right? Or are they taking it figuratively or some other way, right? So when we put words together, right, in such a way that it inspires a particular behavior, because persons of lesser intellect can't see beyond the literal meaning of what was said, then we owe it to ourselves and society on a whole to be more responsible about our musical and lyrical utterances.
Yes.
I'll leave it there for now.
Yes, Venetia, you come to us with a complete package, so to speak, because I know you understand the music. I know you understand the dancehall culture. I know you understand the inner city, and most importantly, you understand the politics of it. How do you see those negative lyrical contents? How do you see that affecting our society today?
First of all, good evening to your panelists again, and to those who are joining us. Let me just say that everything that we do in life has consequences. Every single thing, no matter how trifling it may seem. I still don't understand what the disquiet is about regarding what the Prime Minister said. Because the truth be told is that it's not just, as Elon said, we're dealing with fragile mind, it's not just impressionable minds that we're dealing with. We're dealing with the psyche of a people that is heavily invested in our culture in a really practical way, more practical than we care to really have them do. And, that would make me reference the very first case in point that all of us, well, certainly from where I sat, I was most aggrieved when Buju Banton, for example, came under immense pressure for Boom Bye Bye. Because as a Jamaican, I could understand and appreciate that at the time he was not suggesting. And I don't believe that there was this mental thought process that said that we were supposed to go and shoot. But because of our culture, the correlation between the subject matter being sung about, then you find that people will interpret it literally. And so what I believe entertainers need to take from this, their takeaway has to be that there are those persons, including politicians, by the way, who will internalize what they say, not for rhythm, but for lyrical content. And the reality is that there are persons who take these things literally.
Yeah.
As a representative, let me just say this to you as a counselor. I remember engaging some youths in Augustown once, right? And I did not know at the time that there was a song out there that really suggested that you could get 21 gun salute when you were killed, right? Something to do with that effect. No, I remember kicking off with a guy on the corner because I said to him, are you bloody stupid? You will not be able to hear that 21 gun salute. Because he actually saying to me, counselor, no, he was saying to me, counselor, anything, you know, cause man not gonna get 21 gun salute. Let me tell you, I was so incensed by it. I sat with his mother for about 6 days, consecutively, just sitting with her to help her to understand that he would not be able to hear that. So I wanted to make the point to you to say that there were young people out there on corners who were members of gangs, because in this case, that guy was a member of a gang, who his
I think
was that regardless of what was going to be getting 20 salutes, something he could not even guarantee. So just think about the power. You know, if you take it from the Christian's perspective, they said there is life and death in the power of the tongue.
Yes.
And so let me just say to you, and I know how that can be twisted, but that's not that meeting tonight. Let me just say to you that it's the very same thing about the lyrical content. well, an injection, Elon, that expression does it for me. But essentially, just to say that words have power, and sometimes the mens rea, the intention, the mental intent, the intention of the person. I'm going legal now. The intention of the person is not to be taken literally, but the intention is to entertain.
Right.
But you ever hear them? So what is joke to you is dead to me.
Dead to me, right.
So we, as Jamaicans, we have enough to go off just in terms of how we need to do everything that we do in moderation. Because yes, entertainers need to understand that in the same way, the good things are celebrated and we take it out of the music. And, you know, when the things are positive, if them tell us to dress dapper and bashy, anything them say, we follow it. It's the same way. If them say go pop off a man's head, there are those who are given to psychophancy who will also take that on board and carry it out. And so you cannot then expect not to absorb some form of responsibility in that regard. So I just want the guys to be mindful of the stuff they say. And I want to make one final point. I never used to listen to Spice, but I have constituents who are just totally captivated by Spice. And so every time I would go into my division, I had to hear lines from Spice. Now, you know, let me just tell you, Mr. Vegas, these are very graphic, sexually explicit, sexually charged lines. I have young ladies walking in some serious tights out a road, and they will pat their private part and say stuff that make me go, what the hell? And so what I'm saying to you is that we are now seeing an even greater sexually charged atmosphere among some of our don't expect that it is just inner city women, some of our professional women, because I sit in groups with them. And let me just tell you that, okay, I'm going to make my final confession as I give way to the rest of your panel. Elon is on my Twitter, and John, you might be on my Twitter. The other day, something happened internationally, and I tweeted, me feel what's it that way in my Spice voice.
Yes.
So you don't want it any closer to home than that. Even I, because all of us on here know what Spice said, what way it was, a very colorful languaged way. And I tweeted the same thing. And here am I am supposed to be a political representative.
Yes.
But even I, for that moment,
captivated by that.
There you go.
So with that said, Mr. Vegas, because one of the things that I listened to your commentary recently, and I was very surprised because I was really looking out for Vega, to come out and support the dancehall fraternity as a man who chart that course and understand the thing. And when dancehall artist Mr. Vegas said to people that, look, I don't have a responsibility. It's not my job to raise a child. I'm an entertainer. My job is to provide music and to put in music what the society does. How do you counter that argument, Vegas?
I find that that argument, to be contrary to some lyrics that artists put out. You understand? Because if I don't care about the well-beings of the people, then why am I singing a song talking about uplifting, and why am I singing a song about fighting injustice? Why am I doing lyrics talking about government to fight this and all of them things there if I don't care about the people? That means I want to help. You see me, I say, I want to see the youth them have a better future, I want to see the youth them have a better life. So why me I put out them type of lyrics then? And most of these artists that we talk about, what we say I sing certain type of lyrics, them have songs to where uplift people, of course. So it's not all of them songs, where we say violent contents. You see me I say? But of course, so if you are gonna sing songs for tell the youth themselves, hold up them head and try, elevate themselves out of society, that means they care. But when the argument comes around, say, yo, we are role models, you don't want to be a role model. But you want to be
the entertainers say to you, people like yourself and almost everybody on the panel, we have Tyrone Baker, and he's gonna join us soon. He's a sound system selector. We want to get it from his perspective as well, because he's playing the music. He's playing what the entertainers, what the producers produce, and what the artists record. Now the question is, how do you tell the dancehall artists out there now who's taking a particular position that, look, you can't hold me accountable. You can't hold me accountable because, listen, my job in this whole scheme of thing is just basically to sing music. The question I want to put to the panel, though, which is a question that is being asked all over, is that who influences who? Does the society influence the music, or does the music influence the society? I'll start with Elan, and then I'm going to come right back to you, Vegi. We're going to introduce Tyrone in a few minutes. But let me start with Elan first on that question. Give Vega some time.
I'd say both. However, when it comes on to the makers of the music, they're like gatekeepers, right? Yeah. So in as much as society is influencing them, they also have a responsibility now, not necessarily to reinforce that reflection, right? And, for all of the people who like to hang on to this crutch about, oh, it's a society that made me do it, and I'm just singing or DJing about what I see in reality, well, that's not 100% true, right? We sing about doing violence to people, if them this way. There's the sexually charged content as well that Venetia spoke to, right? But then there are some taboo topics that nobody really sings about, even though it is part of the reality in our society, right? We have heard about the sexual crimes against young girls, underage girls in particular, right? And we know what happens to these girls. We know how graphic things get when it comes on to the violation of their privacy, right? Is anybody out there singing about it and celebrating it in as much as they're celebrating loading up gunshots into people's heads? Right? So this kind of, selective morality, if you like, right? Or selective immorality on this topic is, we just need to park it, right? There comes a time and a place for everything, especially when you look at where society is now. If you do not want to contribute to society continuing to run a braid, then it is up to you within your own consciousness, within your own conscience, to say, look, let me be part of the change, right? Why are we still having this discussion years later, right? When the solution simply lies in people saying, look, I make music, I can make violent music, or I can make great music that allows people to dance and have fun and have a great time, right? Without ever having their heartbeats racing out of wanting to do violence to somebody else, right? The truth is, we have artists who, when them drop a song, we know it's a nice dance tune, right?
Yes.
And all we are focused on is, okay, how am I going to do the dance now, right? Because that's the fun in dancehall, right? Why would I want to be waiting for some artist to drop a tune, right? That speaks in such graphic detail as to how people are got dead and whatever else. Why?
So you're saying people are looking forward to some of these music, and I tell you, people like Vegas, when Vegas drop a track or a single or an album, very rare you really find anything suggestive on there. It is always music that is made to last for decades. And I'm not Vegas because you're here. It's just a reality. If you look at the context of your music, it lasts for a lifetime.
Right. Look at Ding Dong, for instance, right, Chopper?
Yes.
Right? When a Ding Dong tune drops, right, you know it's a dancing tune 90% of the time. So you're not going to have to figure out, all right, me need to catch a dancer real quick. Because when we go party, we need to be able to do it. Right? That's what music is supposed to be about. Right? Lifting your spirits, make you feel good, make you want to exercise even while you're dancing away and having a good time.
Yes.
Right? It's not supposed to be about reinforcing violence.
Yes.
There's nothing funny about shooting or killing people or toting a gun or being part of a gang. There's just nothing funny about that. There's nothing entertaining about it. And I think it is time for us as a society to start pushing back at these kinds of lyrical content.
Right. Tyrone Baker, you're just joining us. And you are a sound system selector. Introduce yourself and then tell us what's your take, because you're a man who is playing the music and you have a totally opposite view. You are one of the folks who say, look, it's not my job. My job is to spin the tune. Why hold me accountable to mentor your child? Talk to us, Tyrone.
Well, hi, I'm Tyrone from Hyperactive Sound System. And
I don't know. Hold on 1 second there, Tyrone. Just stick up in there, Tyrone. Somebody is typing. I'm not sure who it is, but we're getting a feedback from one of these. I don't know who it is, but one of us are doing some typing there, and it's giving us a feedback. But anyhow, let's go. Go ahead, Tyrone.
Yeah, I operate Hyperactive Sound Station. And
yes.
When we came in the business, truth be told, we play for a lot of international crowd, and I'm from the North Coast actually, and we do a lot of hotel events and that sort of stuff. But the truth be told, when I entered into the business, I learned the business. I used to live on Red Hills Road, and I learned being a DJ or sound system from around the Garrison. But when I came to the hotel and was interviewed, they asked me if I knew international music and that sort of stuff, right? But my crew, my company, the truth be told, we can go either way. We can go hardcore, we can go party style. You understand me? But what I'm saying is we've been having this discussion for decades now as it relates to the dancehall music and how violent or how aggressive it is. From way back when Ninja Man till today. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the music business, listen now, the music business is a business, right? Mm-hmm. And some people, some producers or artists, they can set trends and trends are set and that sort of stuff. But the truth be told, on a whole, everybody's in it for the money. And what sells, that's what they're going to talk about at that given time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? The fact of the matter is, we all have a responsibility, yes. But everybody say they want to eat a food. And if your producer release a certain amount of song, chances are in that when it get played. You understand what I'm saying? Now, as Elon was saying about the society, if they're living what they are singing or singing what they're living, the fact of the matter is, it is not a simple case, because the truth be told, most of the dancer artists come from the Garrison. right?
Mhm.
And when they go to a studio back in the days, 5-10 years ago, only a selective few would allow them to come and voice or sing. You understand me? No, when a little man set up a little studio and get on a little jumpy rhythm man, have a little hook and bust out this, bust out that, and that is working for them. What do you think they're going to do? Everybody say they want to eat food.
But,
Now
but wouldn't you agree though, Tyrone, that we're sacrificing the bigger picture, which is the morals of the society, just because we want to eat a food? Would you be willing to play well, you can't do it in the setting that you operate in, but you're speaking as a selector and you would represent your views. I'm not saying what you're saying is a representation of the music fraternity or the Selectors Association or whatever it is. Not so. What I'm saying to you is that how do you now separate your responsibility as an individual to say, look, boy, this not sound good. When a man gonna tell me, say, pop out me 9 or get a AK and slap out a man tomorrow. Look, you have to draw a line, you know. At some point, you have to take responsibility and say, well, I have a job to carry this passenger, I'm not going to carry it. I have a job to play this record, I'm not going to play it.
But everybody have a threshold. That's the thing, you know. Everybody has a threshold, you know. You understand how far, how some people won't play a song bashing Christianity or that. So everybody have a threshold. What I'm saying to you, after a man say he want to eat a food, me or you not carry money go give him. Is what work for him, him going with. You understand?
But if you don't play his music, you know, it won't work for him. Stick up in there, Tyrone. Let me get. Yeah, if you don't play his music, you can't eat a food. So he will have to change his mindset.
That is true. But freedom of speech
comes with responsibility.
Now, hold on. Freedom of speech is a serious thing in the world. As it relates to, I think Mr. Vegas one time was hearing something, and even he said it. You no longer need the radio station or PO or what have you to get your music played or heard, because you can post it on 10 different spots to have it heard on YouTube, Viva, all of those stuff. So even if I play it or not, it would have to
somebody's gonna play
a joint attempt with everybody coming together. You understand me? And there's
keyword everybody
are a few persons in the circle. Like I say, so when me do that and can't eat, una go feed me.
Good point. Let me ask Venetia. Vegas, I know you're itching to come into this one. Venetia, what's your take? Who influenced who? Does the music influence the society, or does the society influence the music?
I think it works both ways. I mean, I am even more perturbed just listening to Tyrone just now. It's really quite frightening that we have a deep-rooted culture problem in Jamaica that needs to be solved. It's one thing for us to be having a conversation like the one we're having now. It's another thing just to listen to the perspective of Tyrone, and it tells you that you know, I'm a straight shooter, and it is just what Tyrone just described. It's indiscipline, right?
Yeah.
And it is cultural indiscipline. And so when I say to you that it works both ways, people will sing or write lyrics to mimic what they interpret as a reality of a particular group or group of persons, right? That may very well be the case. However, as you said yourself, John, that there is some amount of responsibility that comes with that. It cannot just be about eating a food, because that's a very expensive meal, particularly expensive when it costs lives, because there are those sycophants, and we cannot in any way, shape, or form discount them and discount the impact on the impressionable minds among us. I use, you know, very trifling examples earlier. Maybe Tyrone was not on, so he didn't hear. But when I listened to him saying that people are going to find ways and means, I think then that maybe after this program, what really needs to happen is, because I do believe that parliamentarians need to listen to the perspective of Tyrone, because this is where, by the way, policy needs to come in. And, you know, he referenced freedom of speech. let us be categorically clear, right? Responsibility is critical. And you really don't want to deprive persons of certain liberties that they are naturally entitled to. But where it is that you see persons not able to demonstrate the level of responsibility that is required, even as you try to earn from your talent or craft, then it becomes the purview of those responsible for molding societal morals to step in and ensure that we do our duty. He said, however, something that is very, very critical. It will take all hands on deck. Yes, it will take everybody. And you correctly said to Tyrone, if you don't play it, then they will have to wheel and come again. And using the excuse that they will find social media ways of getting it out there, that won't bring money to their pockets. And we all know that, because especially if people not going to go on there and buy it.
Right.
People want to go on there. No, they're not going to go. Some of us go to dance, we just don't operate in the same way that we are seeing people operating in. And so it is very frightening, but very enlightening to listen to Tyrone, because then there is no role for policymakers, because where indiscipline trumps economics, and the excuse of economics is used basically to buttress indiscipline, and it's costing our society in many ways, by the way. That is when the system has to actually step in.
All right, we're gonna come back to you, Tyrone, but let me just let me get Vegas' point of view, and then I'm gonna go to Elon. Same question to you, Vegas. I think unmute your mic there, Vegi.
Yeah, you're muted.
All right, good.
I'm muted. Oh,
yeah, you're good. You're good to go.
Yeah, man. I'm still under the impression, or I'm still of the mindset that art imitates life.
Yes.
And look at it vice versa, yeah? So we have to also understand that people are going to sing about them experiences, don't it? People are going to sing about, things that happen at the inner cities, them. And if we're going to go to policies, then we have to fix. We can't just fix the music. If we're going to do the policies, we can't just say, what? We're going to fix the lyrics then with the artists, them.
Not even scratching the surface.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can't just say we're going to fix the lyrics of the artists, them, and what them are put forward. However, as our brother said, man, if you eat a food, you understand? And now we have more platforms where the people can spread the music, where they can disseminate their music throughout the world, right? But we have to understand, say, that comes with more responsibility now. You understand? Right. We're not supposed to make because eat a food or responsibilities. Yeah. And if I can bring you back a little bit to when people before me was getting into dancehall, some producer would not record a song with the about slap out a man's head. Steal it, them now record that, and them are some of the biggest producers. Danny Brown them would have never record that. And them man, they make countless hit songs. And I can tell you another thing too, and our selector virgin know this too. The dancehall anthem them will last 20, 30, 40 years is not no gun tune. It's not a big bad slap out head tune. Because people not
some of them.
It's very rare that it's going to. Well, no, it's very rare that you go into an international audience, or you play in say you play in New York, or you play down a Manhattan, or you play in Miami, or you play at all this party. It's very rare. Them not at the base market where we know, so everybody know the bad man song and everything. We attack internet, we attack hit song. Because we say you have popular songs and you have hit songs, You understand, bro? The hit songs, them do years, them do, Murder She Wrote. You can name them. Action, Nadine Sutherland, them. All of them songs are like anthem every year.
Exactly.
We not about us in our base market. You understand what I say? So why is all of that important? The man them where did produce the music, the Danny Brown them, the Shams them, the Tony Kelly them. Tony Kelly them now, you can't go sing for them man that about snap out the next man head back. You're mad. An artist used to bust them time, they bust bigger too. So what happened? Because now we realize that a man can sing that and get to it. A man can sing that and it gets played. A man can sing that and eat a food. A man can sing that and it run the dance. That's the thing, So remember, say the youth it's not just art to imitate life alone. It's just art imitating life alone. What we have to understand, so the youth them see how them can eat food.
Exactly.
So if next week a man say, remember saying a dance hall, we couldn't sing certain lyrics, Remember saying me sing a song named Juicy and a talk about bum take juice take bump off a face. I put them boom me off a stage, brother. right now in our dance hall, you know, man I sing say a two girl him want to do two things to him one time, you know. Remember say we have videos now and them thing with man have woman a kiss upon something. Them thing they never accept them in a dance hall. But why people can sing about it now? Because we society, the selector them a play it, radio man them a play it, video play it, YouTube on YouTube. So people say, oh, we can do that and get where. Some man do that and get where. But here on the other hand now, if a man comes sing a song about something where we don't agree with our way, we see as immoral, then we are going to say, yeah, what that you sing, you influence the people and figure do that. You influence the people and figure bow. You influence people and do all of these things. But when the tables turn on, we say, but you influence you to kill them. We say, no, on our responsibility to grow the youth them.
Right. Because, and let me just add to that before I come to you, Elon. The Clark situation, and we talk about it. You mentioned it in your live recently, Vegi, where you made reference to Clarks. And we can go on and on. We can look at bleaching, tight pants, all these things were glorified in music. Skin bleaching become acceptable. Like Vegas is saying, certain behavior in videos become acceptable because the music is used to push it. Why is it that it's okay if corporate Jamaica, Elon, you're not here in your capacity as a corporate person, but you understand, corporate Jamaica uses use entertainers every day. So if it is that you didn't have any influence, you weren't popular, you're not buzz, why these companies would pull you? Why these companies would bring you on board? Elon, what's your take? Who influenced who? Does the music influence the society or the society influence the music?
Well, there's a correlation between the two, and it happens all the time, has been for quite some time now. I want to just, look at as well the many attempts that we've made over the years to clean up the music, as we like to describe it, right? If it's from a corporate perspective, civil society, government, the church even, and several other bodies, they've come together from time to time trying to influence change in the lyrical content, right? Yes, we do have other social and economic drivers that are causing crime and violence and a general crassness among people, right? And so we need to address those too. But then where do we begin, right? People like to talk about the low-hanging fruit. Maybe music is one of them, because the truth is, if I don't go in tomorrow morning to a studio to sing a violence-laced song, then that song gets no promotion, right? So maybe that's where we begin, right? To think about how we are going to now influence change through positive lyrical content, right? And to, as well, through the Broadcasting Commission, look at how we repel certain types of lyrics with violent content that's now being bleeped out on air, which the suggestion alone, in spite of the bleep, is enough to send the message anyway. So we probably need to be stronger on the filters. And I'm not one for filtering freedom of expression, right? But I think there's a time and a place for everything. Why have we not been able to understand that there's a time and a place for everything? Because our society is now bedrocked on indiscipline, intolerance, and disorder. And whenever you have a society that is as such, it becomes very difficult to navigate any space that members of the society occupy, spaces that need to have a better a better kind of existence for people to live and live well within, right? And so because we don't have enough of those spaces anymore, what you find is that the society becomes a free-for-all and everybody wants to do their own thing because there's not much regulation, either morally or even legally for that matter, going on, right? So the eat a food mentality now becomes a justification instead of saying, hey, there are actually, more moral ways of eating a food, because you have examples of other persons out there who are entertaining without having to go beneath a woman's dress, without having to resort to exerting the use of an AK-47 and so on, right? So, if it is from this discussion and others like it, right? Producers, players of music, radio stations, broadcasting commission, right? Can now say, look, enough is enough, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we need to address some social and economic issues, but the truth is that we still can't stand for this crassness. We've crossed the line several times. We need to just back up a little bit. So going forward, we will not be tolerating this and that kind of music, right? And there's something else that needs to be said about the way in which these sound systems operate, right? They are blaring at high decibels into communities and into people's houses that would rather not hear the music. So that's another thing to, right? We talk about, well, if you don't want to listen to it, turn it off. But the truth is that when you have a big sound system playing, right, in pre-COVID times, right, and you trying to get some snooze and you just can't, right? And you call the police and them say, boy, the dance supposed to lock off 2 o'clock, them have a permit. But when you listen to the lyrics and you understand that your neighbor's kids are listening to that too because they're up, right? I mean, it makes it that much difficult for parents to guide their children. So that's another aspect of it too, right? So, when people talk about, we just need to eat our food and we just put on some lyrics and we just do a thing because you don't know when they get to you, them off a rise and all of that. Come on, man. What kind of unspeakable damage are you doing otherwise to the young minds that are coming up, right? We owe it to ourselves, right? But at the same time, we have to understand the context within which our society has been ordered or disordered, right? We are built on intolerance.
Jump in there, Ben.
I think Mr. Vegas Elon captured it for us in a way that probably could not be better said. He referenced, producers, for example, and he named a few who you could never even approach
right,
with obscene lyrics, and we have evidence to support what Mr. Vegas said. When you think, for example, different genre, but when you think about, for example, Bob Marley music, kind of soberness that the same young people who will pop the finger and go at the dancehall artists, that kind of obscene music, are the same ones with the same capacity to appreciate Bob Marley's Man to Man is so unjust. Do you know why they always bring the forward and the this and the that? Because they're listening to the lyrics and they're hearing Bob Marley years after he's passed say to them, and you don't know who to trust, because that's a reality. As Mr. Vega say, the art informs the music and vice versa. Soberness can sell. The explicit stuff may very well have its space. Soca music is sexually explicit. We all know this, but I cannot see that we must entertain a platform for violent music. We are better than that. And the damage is irreparable, regardless of how much food we want to eat. As I've said before, that is some serious cuisine that we just cannot afford.
Well, Tyrone, you started the eater food aspect of it. We're going to come back to you. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back. When we come back, we want to look, though, as promised, at collective responsibility. And we're going to start with Tyrone when we come back, because I believe that responsibility starts with us, every one of us. And he mentioned it. So I want to say to him, in his small capacity, what can he do, to start to make a change as it relates to how the music is fed to us? We take a break and come right back. Stand by.
Where we come to the understanding that in our art form, in our music, and in our culture, in as much as you are free to reflect what is happening in the society, you also have a duty to place it in context. That to take up the AK-47 and turn it in a man's head, that is not right. And though you have the protection of the Constitution to sing about it, you also have a duty to the children who are listening to you to say, man, that is not right. And until the society comes to the understanding that all forms of violence is wrong. But we're not there yet. Because as I speak today, I'm expecting the headlines tomorrow. Leave this one alone. Leave that alone. Go talk about something else. But that is it. We are not yet serious. In a sense, Madam Speaker, I am happy to see the outrage.
Oh, you would have feel. Don't do that. Oh, you would have feel. You don't want it back.
Oh, you feel look on a woman and you want raise your hand like you don't understand that she never really can sick. You think a trick, she a trick.
Oh, you would have feel.
And if a little man cough, you want kill him off like your brain soft, right? See you gone past. You want more of this?
Tell me how you would have feel if I you them son, if you are the family, if you catch COVID-19.
Yo, we need to respect one another.
Step in the shoes of your sister, yeah.
Don't do that. Oh, you would have feel. You don't want it back.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Hello? 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 Yeah, you. Hold on, and a pandemic winner. You're now wearing a mask, you're now washing your hand, and you now keep the required 6 feet distancing from other people. And what could I really cause you? You need to stop it. That no mask, no wash, and no distance something there, nah keep. You know what keep? COVID-19. Yeah, it not gone nowhere. COVID-19, they are same way. So here what you are going to do for all of we. Wear your mask, wash or sanitize your hands pan a regular, and yeah, keep your distance, please. And thanks.
Hi, my name is Tanoya Boros, and together with my husband, Brenton, we started an online children's store called Shop 876 Kids. We pride ourselves in carrying the widest variety of children's items, including room decor, baby supplies, educational supplies, clothing, and every child's dream, the hottest and latest toys. Our ultimate dream for this business is to become the #1 resource for children items in Jamaica, and dare I say the Caribbean. But you know, they say if your dream doesn't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. Through my research, I found out about Sagicor Bank Payment Gateway Solutions, and I used it for my business because they had the best rates, excellent customer service, and they are a safe and reliable platform for my customers to use. COVID-19 has certainly changed our lives, but out of adversity comes opportunity. Look at me, pharmacist turned web developer turned website owner. Look for that need and supply that service or product.
All right, so welcome back, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for sharing. This is an interesting topic. We still have with us Elan Parkinson, Venetia Phillips, Tyrone Baker, and Mr. Vegas is here as well. Sheldon Dixon, good to see you, my friend. Ethan Barrett, good to see you. Who else we got? Ian Anderson, good to see you. Before we took the break a while ago, we said we were going to come back and ask Tyrone to kick it off for us, because we're going to look at some solutions. And part of the solution, as we can all agree, is taking responsibility. When the argument comes up from the Prime Minister about the contents of the music, right away you realize that a certain section of the society start to get in a defensive mood. And what that says is that there's an issue. Because once you start to get defensive, it means that you're conceding to whatever allegation is made against you. Now, I am saying to Tyrone, in your small capacity as a selector, a player of music, you spin tunes. And when these tunes come to your inbox, if you start in your own little corner and say, I'm going to take a stand, I'm not going to play a certain type of music, do you think that would work? And you can expand on that by telling us what would be your solution, what's your recommendation as it relates to cleaning up the music. Tyrone, you're first.
All right. Let's put it out there. Mr. Vegas and Sir Elan said something about the fruits, the lower fruits, and Mr. Vegas talk about the responsibility. But I think we're missing the big picture here. It boils back to the statement you made that is society making the music, or is the music making society? How do you teach somebody responsibilities? The persons who are singing the songs are making the songs. You know, where are their moral levels? Where are their what should I say now? Understanding levels. You see, I honestly and truly think that no matter what we do, the music is just a scratch on the surface to what is happening in Jamaica. And that's why you and I earlier were speaking, I said to you, and you kept asking me, do I think the music is at fault? The problem I have with the statement is when other people come to me and said they think dancehall music is a huge reason why the country is so violent. And in my opinion, I don't think so. It's a perception, the culture, the mindset of the people why the country is the way it is. You get what I'm saying?
But you don't believe that you who spin the music have a responsibility. You don't believe that it is your responsibility. You believe that once the music comes to you, you can just go ahead and play. It doesn't matter what it is saying to your audience. Because remember now, you have an audience. Hold on 1 second, Tyrone. 1 second, Tyrone. The artists have an audience. You know who the artist audience is mainly? It's business. It's called external customers and internal customers. You know who the customers are for the artists? You. You know who the customers are for the producers? The artists. Hold on a second. It comes down the line. So your internal customer is the artist who gives you the product. Your job now is to pass the product on to the wider society. Are you saying to me that you don't have a responsibility to vet the product that you are passing on to society?
At no point I've said anything like that.
I'm asking you now.
No, I know. And what I'm saying to you is, let me make a small point here. What I'm saying to you is, and I'm going to ask a question and just give me a small response. Who listening to the music? Are they loving it?
Well, you tell me. It's obvious that they are. They're practicing.
If that is the music that is being sold or being played, it is being played to a general audience and it becomes a hit. What does that say about the whole of Jamaica?
Yeah, but it becomes a hit, Tyrone. But it also have another side to it. That is, we would prefer not to have that hit than to have the side effect. The side effect is worse.
Then what I'm saying, what I'm asking you, and just understand what I'm asking here, right?
Yes.
Mr. Vega same thing, certain song and him get boo.
Yes.
Right? Because the crowd wasn't up for what he was saying. What I'm asking you now, right? Who listening to music now and not booing, and why?
I'm gonna
Tyrone. In all of this, do you see yourself as a leader or a follower?
A leader, of course. You see,
you really believe
think
that?
you think I'm agreeing with make the music play. I'm asking you a question. You can only fix the problem if you know what the problem is, right? Is it the artist singing the song or the person who listening the song?
But you're the gatekeeper. No, but you're the gatekeeper.
Venetia, let me hear Ven. Let me hear Ven. I think Ven wants to jump in there, Tyrone.
No.
Tyrone, you see, when I listen to you, first word that jumped out at me, latest jargon the latest jargon being bandied about, the term influencers.
Yes.
It's not just in the music. We're living in a time where the generation of today, right, they are quite liberal. They are liberal and we accept that as leaders, which is why Elon asked the question as to whether or not you're a leader or a follower. Because The market that's out there, right? They are almost like sponges waiting to absorb what is presented, Tyrone. And so it's the diet, that stable diet that you are feeding that will become, the choice of palate of their palate. So I'm saying to you, hold on a second. Just hang on and indulge me for a quick minute. If it were that the United States Embassy in particular would speak to him,
I think we have it.
To persons who, not just the singers, no, hold on, not just the DJs, but those who promulgate that kind of lyrical content that we know can do irreparable damage. If it were that the US Embassy would say, we not just target entertainers who do this now, we're going to target on them. All right, like let's use, for example, this. It would affect people in that way. Don't you believe that would in fact help to alter, just how we go about these things? And then I want to ask you a gentler question. I want to ask a gentler question. You just said that, the people are and they're singing about the reality. Is it from where you sit that there's absolutely nothing good happening, and that whatever good that's happening were to be placed in the lyrics, that we would not be appreciating of it, the same audience would rebuff it? Is it a case where you are saying that the young people, don't dumb them down like that, man? When you tell me, so what's the IQ of the persons who pretty much do these lyrics? You have a heap of sense. You can just listen to just how them put that together. To talk about guns in that way and that sort of thing. I'm telling you, it is very telling that these are not idiots. These are people who are well thought out and researched.
Yeah, Miss Phillips, you see, you're reiterating my point without knowing it. What I'm asking you, what is the difference between the person who don't want that song to the person who listens that song? Why you don't like?
And I'll put it back to you on your plate. I'll put it back to you on your plate.
Because once again, we're missing the
absorption process, the social absorption. We take in what you put out.
It's not about the music. It's about the morality of the society. The fact of the matter is the youth have been forgotten. You see, when everybody keep on pushing, and Mr. Vegas said it, that the music is the cause of this, that, what have you. That is the problem where I'm having. Because the truth be told, you fix the music tomorrow, and we're still getting this sort of behavior. We have
I want to answer you in one way. I want to answer in one way, Tyrone. Just indulge me. When somebody good pitney, your neighbor or your friend, right? Well, them family grow them good. You have a lot of young mothers in Jamaica who really do well by them child. When somebody good pitney, for example, me not gonna use weed because me not have no problem with weed. But for example, take up cocaine, right? Somebody good pitney way, I might have brethren go to school with because I'm using what you just said. You said it comes back to the morality of the person. No. I disagree with you because that person was not immoral. This is the same brethren you probably didn't know from school where good youth and parents are probably Christian, But I'll tell you what happened. The influence of society, whether it be what he saw on television or what he perceives to be the hit in the streets, right? That he would then have come into this practice that would have cost him dearly. Now, I'm saying to you, when you say it is society's moral that causes this, I beg to differ. Because, for example, if it wasn't being played at all, the gun lyrics was a bus off man head then. If it wasn't being played at all, then obviously we would not be hearing it, right? You have to be dancing to the other things that you play.
Yeah.
So
correct.
I have one question.
All right, Tyrone, 1 second, Tyrone. We're coming back to you.
Hold on. So Ms. Phillips just said about marijuana a while ago, but yet still,
no, I said cocaine.
Portion of society still thinks of marijuana is the cause of them something here.
No, Tyrone, stick up in right. Let me just bring Elon in real quick. Elon wants to ask you a question, Tyrone.
Now,
I just
Miss Phillips, you growing up never hear all of the chastising of marijuana.
Yes.
We all do. We all
My
do.
father was a Rasta man, brother, but I couldn't smoke it. My father was a Rasta man, but I couldn't smoke it.
Problem with it. But your next door
No,
neighbor
I don't
smoke
have
it.
because
That's
I
it.
understand. No, because I'm going to tell you what, even though we knew that it was one, illegal, two, people had different views about it, and there were different discussions happening at different levels. It was ganja was not almost being pushed on all of us as kids. It was around us, and big people, certainly back in my day, if a youth did look like him, if I hide and take a draw weed somewhere, he couldn't make no big people see it because society was shaping morals, right? So I'm saying to you that it is really how we socialize people. So that's why I use the term a sponge, you know. So you see, the young people I'm out there right now, the vibes audience. I mean, why you go like a young people alone come love music too, brother.
Yes.
So nobody think like somebody listen to this. I listen to them, but I the way I feel like. Listen to me. I party and I party hard. I party hard, Tyrone. I party hard, and there are times when I just hold my hand in the dance because when I hear a lyric that turns me up, I hold my hands.
exactly. And I do the same.
Tyrone, stick up in there.
The problem I'm having. Just hold on 1 second. The problem I'm having is we're missing the bigger picture. It's not about the music.
All right,
it's about
okay.
The youth that we're forgotten who is accepting the music.
But who's giving it to them?
Okay, so hold on. So if it's not about the music, Tyrone, it's not about the music. Let me ask you this, right? Where are you prepared to draw the line in terms of the kind of lyrical content that you put out there? What would you not play?
Listen. I've been to events. All right, I put out a mixtape every so often. My company, no explicits. You've never heard a mixtape from us with explicit and that sort of stuff. I'm not here agreeing with what is happening. I'm literally playing devil's advocate to see what is really happening as it relates to are we putting the blame on the music.
I like you.
So this is not a genuine position, then, Tyrone.
It's a couple.
No. From we have been here talking, I've not agreed to say yes.
Let me tell you why you cannot play those music. Let me tell you why you cannot play those music. You cannot play those music because the industry in which you operate, where you apply your trade, the minute I bet you never go play a song. A matter of fact, if you are playing an audience in the hotel or on the North Coast and you're not getting no forward, you think you're gonna say all of them man they for dead, Informer for dead? You say it? Which is the go-to.
Let me explain. In my industry, right?
Yes.
When I do certain events at the hotels, to be exact, right? We work off a list. And what the list is supplied by the guests, that is what is played. And they want to hear Vybz Kartel, Chili. They want to hear Masika. They want to hear Bob Marley. So it is not a case that I don't play it because of where I work. If I'm requested to play it, it is played. You understand?
So do you get a request to play the song that says, take up your AK and slap out a man, Mara? I mean, that does request it. You do?
Yeah, I don't get a lot, but there are some songs that they want and they ask for.
And if they ask for it and you have it, you can play it.
Then that's what I'm there for.
So you don't even care if when you play it. You're not worried that when you play that song, in order to put food on your table, it affects the wider society.
But I must be worried about something like that. But what I'm saying is that we are forgetting, right, how we created the sponge.
Folks, we're trying to get Vegas back.
Post the happy music. That's why I'm asking you, where did we go to create the sponge that absorb violent music and not happy music?
Okay, so Tyrone, since we know So Tyrone, since we know that the sponge is amenable to absorbing violent music, how about not creating violent music?
Fine.
That takes care of sponge.
Effect on me like that. Music, all right. I listen to music for pure entertainment. The fact of the matter is, all right, middle class people listen to music, upper class people, the poor. Seemingly is the ghetto somewhat poor people doing the crime. You understand me? Why is the middle class youth not taking up the gun and going up there shooting? Why not? And they're listening to the same music. That's what I'm asking. What is the difference between them and middle class?
No, but I spoke to it. I think you may have missed it. I think you may have missed it, Tyrone. When in my opening statement, I did speak to the fact that, look, people are like vessels, right? And some people are very permeable. And as a result of that condition, it's very easy to reach them, like sponge, as you put it, right? But not all our people are like that, right? There are actually people who are able to put the lyrics into content, understand the metaphors and even the literal meanings of these lyrics, right? And filter accordingly, right? The problem is our education system has not done well enough, right, to bring everybody up to a level of understanding.
Thank you
right?
very much.
So that said, it puts a greater level of responsibility on us now, right?
That's the response I was looking for. That's why
yes, yeah, but hold on, let me finish the point. It puts a greater level. Hold on, Tyrone.
Hold on.
Opposed to the one that don't listen.
Hold on.
Let's give
it
Elon
puts
a
now
chance.
a greater level of responsibility upon us, right? To filter to society, right? And to ensure that we do not add to the degradation, right? By virtue of us supporting this kind of violence and aggression in the music, right? I'm a communicator. And one of the things I must always do is to understand the context within which I put messages out into the society, right? I have to understand how people think and therefore how they are likely to take a particular message, right? You are a gatekeeper as much as I am as a communicator, right? But a gatekeeper in terms of the lyrical content that goes out there. You're like a traffic cop. You decide what comes, what goes, what stops, what turns off, whatever, right? And that is why I asked you whether you're a leader and not a follower, because at some point in time, this whole excuse about sponge has to go, because if we don't fill the sponge with anything, the sponge going to be dry, and then the sponge is now going to be ready and waiting for some better music, right? Every day when we get up, we are creating history. The question is, right, 10 years from now, do we still want to be having this discussion about the songs that were made tomorrow, right, going up to 10 years from now? Do we still want to have this discussion, or do we now want to have a renaissance in the music industry where we say, you know something, we've had enough of the violence, we've had enough of the aggression, we've had enough of the degradation of our women, let's now look to better things.
Elon.
Well, that caused some pause there, huh?
Just let me say one last thing.
Yes.
As I was saying when I started and asking you, what's the reason or why they listen and some don't listen? And you say it's a responsibility to the artists for not putting out that music. And we realize that dancehall music is mostly a garrison music. And you said it earlier on about education. Right? Education of that. That's what you said. That because the educational system has failed as it relates to putting everybody on the same level. That's what you said, right? Right? Miss Phillips shaking her head.
Because
that's what
garrison music. It's not a garrison music. And you asked a question about why people some respond and some don't. We all don't think the same way at the same level, and that's why the onus is on you. Mr. Vegas made the point. Maybe we should segue to him making it a because he's in the industry as an entertainer. But the truth be told is that responsibility lies within all of us. He made sure to make the point.
Yes.
As a collective, and you said it, John, about the collective responsibility principle here. Tyrone, all of us don't appreciate at the same level. That's the first thing. So context is not going to be to me what it may very well be to yourself or to Elon or Mr. Vega. And that is why The onus is on the entertainers as they put the lyrics together, just to understand that there are those impressionable youths who might be half educated, who might not appreciate the context, and that when you say something might be a lyrical slaughter and not a literal. And so saying to you is, if you at your level, as the gatekeepers even called you, appreciate this, then you will understand what Mr. Vegas said earlier, that when you talk about the Dave Kellys and stuff like that, you couldn't even raise it as an issue with them. So when music, you say, brother, me can't put this out there. People pitney goodly in the dance. 18-year-old is in this dance. I can't play this. Even if a man give them thing to play. And I say, boss, my tune no. When you look at it, when you put that thing over here, listen to it, you realize that this is not something that you can put out there. That's where responsibility comes in. That's where Elon asked the question, are you a leader or a follower? Mr. Vegas, probably as an entertainer himself, a responsible person in the industry who is quite vociferous. I don't think he's an outcast. I think he's a straight talker. And usually straight talkers get into trouble. But so it is. But the reality is that you cannot shy away from your responsibility.
Let's jump into the straight talker. Mr. Vegas, what say you? Responsibility.
Well, I'm trying to ascertain the information where Tyrone I put forward. And I think Tyrone kind of missed the point, what we really are trying to say, because it sounds like you say we attack a section of dancehall or a segment of dancehall, and I don't think that's the issue. What we really say is, right, if you look on the data then, as the people in charge, we go to see the data where you want to see. If we just take a look at the data, we realize that we have a surge in crime. Now, in order for us to combat that surge in crime, we have to take some form of action, right? So let's say them are do them research, or them are do them survey, or them whatever, them experiment to find out why we have a surge in crime with the young youth them. And them say, music are one of the factors because this is what the youth them are listen to. And when them listen to the lyrics, them must say, these things that the youth them are do, it's also in the music. For example, Tyrone, we have song where man has to chop off and man head and him something, brother. You see that in a music video, bro. Me don't want to fight against no artist. Me think every man for eat a food. But at the same time, me don't want my youth subscribe to that. And most of these people who know we are speak, and I said the Prime Minister go against people and I fight dancehall and them things there. Enough of them artists too, when you go up to Stella Morris, I hope the for them pitney go to school, When you go the prominent prep schools, their children going to these prominent schools, and yet still we are trying to feed the children them in the inner city where we are said, we grew up in a poverty and the youth them are do this because them poor. But we not even want our youth them to subscribe to that. If you check maybe 90% or more of these entertainers where we are trying, where you are, maybe me, I try to create a balance with the reasoning, for defend. If you check it out, and nanny are raised with them children and them know a certain song playing at them.
Wow.
Just understand that, check the entertainers them. Check the entertainers them, the school where the entertainers them children are go to. The least of the entertainers go here, brother. Them don't want for them youth subscribe to chop off head, bro. Them want for them turn lawyers and doctors and them something them, brother.
There you go.
The reason are going, bro. So we are saying, since we know we have a sponge, bro. We have a sponge society. Or a spongy society. And we know them susceptible to where we are seeing say. We have to go take responsibility now and say, the man, they must say,
Precisely.
Them chop off head lyrics there and them shoot out brain something there. That's something that work especially in this era, bro. Remember one time Gunsang used to play on radio?
Yes.
Gunsang used to play on radio, but of course, as the time, as people evolve, as we have new technology and all of them things that the youth them start say visual, them can link it to the gun song, them see things in a video, them see how much long gun in a video and them something there. Don't think so that not influence the youth them, brother. If we're gonna sit here and act like we are hypocrites, bro, then we not love Jamaica. No society we love. We love
but Mr. Vegas.
We love the artists and we love the song and the society at large. What is Tyrone? What is the greater good? Always remember that, brother. What is the greater good?
The man who
Hold on, Tyrone. Tyrone, hold on 1 second, Tyrone.
Hold on, Tyrone. We make a reason right to. I'm going to give the floor at one reason. What I'm saying is, brother, what is the greater good? You see me, I say? If a man can't bust with them lyrics that when I say him, I go find lyrics that him I go bust, brother. I think it's my talented artist. You know why, bro? Enough of them you can sing them shaka type of song, brother. Them a put that in the music like a shaka and grab your attention. Why? Because we lose the quality of the music, bro. People them can't dance to it. You have to say something to grab the people them. You have to change that as a selector, brother. You have to go back to when you could hear a song and know say I hit song, bro. Not because the song have a line in it to say, oh, it just shock me. Yo, you hear what the man saying on the song? Because a lot of artists, them now put out no work, bro. Them now put out them now do the homework.
Yeah, but we're saying all of this and it's not, it will happen in a let's get to reality. It will happen in a perfect world. Every selector go out there playing music to get a next booking. This is the next booking tomorrow. And if that is what is working, that's what they're going to play.
But Tyrone,
so
you make it work, you know, Tyrone. Hold on, Tyrone. You make it work, you know. Stop saying how the people them want to hear. Hold on, bro.
The responsibility that if it is still no queen.
Hold on, Tyrone. Hold on.
Listen, brother. Let me tell you the process, right? We're going to the studio, right? We're going to the studio, produce a record. Let's say we can't do it for 7 hours, we record a song. We don't send it to the people then before you, bro. We send it to you first. We send it to you first. We send it to the medium them first, brother. The media first. We send it to the players of music, and when you start play it and wheel it up and talk a bag of things and say, that song is the wickedest song, right. I saw the people them start gravitate towards it, bro. You understand me? I say, so you as a father, right? Well, is a father, right?
Yeah.
So you have children. So you have to listen to that song there and say, would I want my youth to subscribe to this? And that's the key to it, brother.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You have song for children and song for adults.
That's exactly what I said.
But Tyrone, let me just add something real quick, Vegas. Listen to this, Tyrone. Part of the problem we have in this society is that we're not willing to make the change that we can make as individuals. We always have to rely on somebody or some system to change us. And let me tell you why I say that. Go back to about 5 or 6 years ago, or even 10 years ago. As we said before, if you can't DJ, you're not talented. When you go in a dance, you're not getting forward. There was 2 go-to for you to get a forward. You all have to say, all of the like Informer put up on. And you must get a forward. And when you get a forward, so you have to follow up with all of the like, man, put up your hand. You must get a forward. Now, those people, the persons who are from the gay community, took that threat serious. Just like how we're talking about crime, we're talking about violent content in the music. It's the same way the gay community viewed dancehall music and selectors and players of the music 10 years ago or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
They grouped up, they organized themselves and decide that they are going to unite and push back against dancehall music and the attack on the gay community. I'm going to ask the question, who win that fight?
You've been asking me that from there.
They're asking now, who won the fight?
Yeah, who won the fight? It's not a matter of who won the fight because it's still happening at dance side. It's just no longer the play of the dance side.
Yes, but if we as a society can use the same model, unite and push back against violent contents in music, we might push the violent contents in music underground. We can fight it underground, but it will not have the effect underground as it will have now. Am I wrong, Mr. Vegas?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you're 100% correct because remember saying we have the platforms and now we're underground. Remember say YouTube underground.
This is underground, right?
The restriction that we may have in Jamaica, like we can control it from here, so with the broadcasting corporation. We can't control it from the internet. So to speak.
I think Mr. Vegas gave us the best.
Right? But watch this now.
I think Mr. Vegas.
You see, because we know that, and we know that we have the control over the platforms, them, especially platforms out of Jamaica jurisdiction. See, we know this, so we come in now, bro. And there's some people like you come in now, So that means that we now say, yo, people have to sing them reality, bro, because you have some people with experiences that may write a book. I was a gunman. Me write in the book some used to fire a shot. That's why the Prime Minister said things in a context, brother. You see me? I said,
Tyrone, before you say that, Tyrone, before you say that, I want the biggest takeaway for me this evening is probably Elon. You might agree what Mr. Vegas said, because when he referenced the point, which is probably the most salient of this evening's discussion,
yep,
that the very perpetrators of the kind of music that we learn, their kids are being sent into an environment where they are not exposed to that kind of culture in the way that would influence their thinking. Hang on, he's not saying their kids won't hear their music, He's saying that they are engaging in a process of socialization of their own children in a space that will give them a completely different appreciation for how music, how to listen to content and filter it. Now, the fact that they have the capacity to make that kind of decision for their children, Tyrone, is very telling, because then you see the viewers that are listening to this, I would hope also that they internalize what Mr. Vegas said. You'd be surprised. My cell phone is right here. And someone sent that to me to say to me that Vegas hit the nail on the head. As he said, their kids are going to the kind of schools where, by the way, that kind of thing will not be tolerated. The children there, hold on, Tyrone. The children they're engaging every day. Might never hear that kind of thing. So understand that these entertainers are clear that they don't want their kids to be absorbing this.
We have a little bit of freezing issue there with Venetia's connection. But folks, this is very interesting.
So they'll provide them with the guidance, but they also
we have a little bit of technical difficulty with Venetia's
Is it
connection.
okay now? Because I think I saw it went down.
Yes, you're good now. You're good now.
So Tyrone, what Vegas said is the high point for me of this evening. And that is really what we should take away from this. That those persons who are promulgating this thing, they make sure to for them pitney. Now absorb it in the same way as the ghetto youth. So just make sure we understand that when we are dish it out to ghetto youth.
We're blaming the music. Okay? But I'm just saying, what is the cause of the music? You get what I'm saying? We're blaming. Just hear me out. We're going back to all of this. We're blaming the music. Nobody wants their kid to come up to be a killer or a chopper. You understand what I'm saying? What are they doing different? Because the music is out there with everybody listening to it. And in a perfect world, would I like nobody sing anything about gun song? Gun song I sing from Josie Wales' time. It's just a little bit more graphic now.
All right, Tyrone, that's a good point. Tyrone, that's a very good point. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take the final break, and when we come back, we're gonna kick off with we're gonna come back to you, Tyrone. But here's what we're gonna do, because the Prime Minister is watching, and I'm gonna give you an audience now to give your recommendation. Everybody on the panel, what would you recommend as a policy from the government side? What is it that you would like the government to do to facilitate some change? And also, what is your individual responsibility as it relates to invoking some change in the lyrical content of the music that we consume on a day-to-day basis? So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to delve into that. And this is going to be our final break. Stick and stay. We'll be right back.
Spice up your winnings. New game supreme up on the scene. Hot pick a do it and it's easy to win. Pick any number from 1 to 15. Then all you do is watch all your winnings come in. All you need a $10. You can bet it and make it in $100. You might even win a 110 or 130. And the best money this you ever spend, dada. Hot pick. Supreme Ventures, this are the new hot topic. So easy if you win, check your ticket for the payout where you get then wrap up your money in the elastic.
See there, we're catching number 7. You win $100, TC win 110, and SWAT wins with 130. Hot pick, easy to win.
Easy if you win, me say it, easy if you win. Easy if you win, me say it.
Introducing Hot Pick, the hot new way to play from Supreme Ventures. Prizes are random. 6 draws.
Hey, you can be anything you want in a life, and where you come from, and where your mindset deck. Look on me, now we come from the yard, and the ghetto wanna represent the brand Pepsi. Hey.
Yeah, we're doing it for the love. So good here we can't get enough. Every taste, every vibe, every kick in a hit, I can rise up above.
For the love of taste, I can.
For the love of self-expression, I can. For the love of standing out, I can.
For the love of myself, I can.
For the love of moving people, I can.
For the love of my country, I can.
Jamaican, I can. Jamaican, I can. Jamaican, I can. Proud to be a Jamaican.
These are unprecedented times when our courage and love for each other is tested by a global crisis. And while you have no choice but to postpone your travel plans, we understand it is the right thing to do, and we know the brighter days will return. After times of crisis, travel has always brought the world together and has allowed Jamaica to serve the world with one heart and as one people. To slow the spread of this unprecedented and challenging health pandemic, we urge you near and far to observe the many calls for social distancing. We're doing the same, and we look forward to when next we meet again. So even though we're many beating hearts, in times like these, our hearts beat as one. Jamaica, heartbeat of the world.
All right, so welcome back, folks. As promised, we are in the final few moments, and we're looking at solutions and recommendations. So, Tyrone, we're giving you the first go. You know, the Prime Minister, all the government officials are watching you. What's your request? What's your personal contribution to solution?
My contribution and statement. But this evening, right? We have 5 of us here. It is for that music is influencing the country wrong, and one who is on the line swaying either way, right? What I'm saying is we are missing the bigger picture. As I said, Yellow Man, Josie Wales, from them time, the Bounty Killer, violent song are come up. It don't seem to be changing. Yeah, it's getting a bit more graphic. I do understand. You understand me? But listen up now. Why the person singing those songs? I think we're not going to the root of the problem as it relates to our youth. I think the government, whichever it has been for the past couple of decades, they've played blind to the youth of this country. We have an indiscipline problem. You understand me? I think we have too many garrisons that has been created by government in more ways than one. You understand me? But the truth be told, in order for us to fix this, you understand me? Because tomorrow, if they change the lyrics about Bossa Man head, and then I'm going to start might sing about oppression and them are holding on poor people and government for the better and what have you. Those songs out there already. All of those songs are out there already. The biggest song for 2019, 2020 was Toast, both locally and internationally. So good songs work. Bad songs drop on the surface right here. The problem I'm having is, and Mr. Holness or the PNP government, somebody has to start it as it relates to taking from zero, the baby, and making education the core of the country. You understand me? We say we want people to be responsible, but if you don't know better, you're not going to do better. You understand me? And when you do better, and you may not believe this, some of us can talk that the eat of food mentality is not good enough. But when you go into your bed hungry, or your kids can't eat, you're going to do. Worse, it's legal. You get what I'm saying? You're going to sing a song to make a money. If you see other people doing and working. You understand me? So, the problem we're having is nobody's paid. It's not going to happen overnight. It has to be a long-term thing. Whereas maybe Mr. Oldness, children are going to get the benefit of it. But it have to start. In China, Japan the other day, they said they do not test kids up until 4th grade. Because all they teach the kids from
birth to 4th
up to 4th grade is appreciation, humility, respect. You understand what I'm saying? And I am saying we're not paying at the same time. We have forgotten the youth, and it cannot start unless we start from there. It is not going to happen overnight. But this thing about music, that is just a scratch on the surface. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Here's the second part of your question now is your responsibility. Okay. You look at the government now, what's your responsibility, if any?
What is my responsibility?
What could you do? What can you do to effect some sort of change?
As in, advocate for them sing cleaner music, as you said.
You would advocate for that?
Listen, I'll advocate for good music to entertain the audience.
Right. Would you take a stand to not play lewd music?
I cannot commit to that.
Okay, got you. We're gonna go to Venetia for this. Venetia.
Yeah, because we're there to entertain the crowd. We go to some event and a girl come out and play a gun song. Fine. You go to some crowd and it's just a gallus party. Dancehall is what it is. It's a very aggressive form of entertainment. It is. Yeah. Dancehall music has always been aggressive and lewd and rude.
All right, Tyrone, we're gonna have to bring Tyrone. I'm gonna have to bring you back in. I'm gonna have to bring you back on this program so we can ventilate the issue even deeper. You know.
Search up.
Trust me. I promise you that.
All right, hold on. One thing before I go. You said we want to discuss a point.
Yes.
We have to carry people that it affects or it is on. It is 4 against 1, and I understand. The fact of the matter is, we don't have a dancehall artist here or a ghetto youth here to speak.
So what the Vegas? Are you saying Vegas is not? Hold up. Vegas, let me bring some Vegas in this one. Vegas, hold on, man. Hold on. Are you saying?
We're talking about a youth. We're not even busted and aspire to be a DJ.
So you're saying Vegas is not a dancehall artist? You don't get no better than Vegas.
I'm saying Vegas is a very successful artist. Vegas is not a ghetto youth. Vegas stopped being a ghetto youth 20 years ago. We're not. No. So why are you shaking?
All right, Tyrone. We're trying to wrap. Tyrone, we're trying to wrap.
After ghetto.
Well, I understand, man. But let me go to Venetia and get her perspective on that. Ven.
Tyrone, I'm a ghetto youth. Don't forget that. You've probably never heard of Black. Hold on. I'm a ghetto youth. Never forget that. You probably never heard of Blackstone because you're probably too young. Well, Weber, the same Dave Kelly them can tell you about it. Yeah, man, from East, because of Rallington touting, Blackstone. You probably never hear about Silverhawk because you probably never spend the time up, you know, puppy and that sort of thing. So no, hang on a second. So all I'm saying to you is that the bigger people them used to pre-Kilimanjaro and them thing there. You understand? Because we had to know our place. So when you're talking, for a minute, when you say to John, bring people who understand, I am telling you that I am not so sure you go to more dance than I have been to.
Miss Phillips,
right?
we're talking about current people now. Current people now.
You see, and that is where I'm going to bring you. Because you see, what you were the one who said, no, hold on.
Hold on,
I'll wait for you to finish.
All right, go ahead.
When Tyrone mentioned that dancehall has had a particular flavor from time immemorial, I raised Blackstone, Silver Arc, and others to say that if you are going to reference times past, then you should be able to entertain the idea that what obtains then was right for the times. But today, right, it's the same culturing process that Mr. Vega spoke about, right? He spoke about the pioneers of that period and what their, predisposition was, what they would tolerate and what they wouldn't. So artists never even bother entertain the idea of going to certain man with certain kind of music because they know said it wouldn't be tolerated. So as a selector yourself, right, responsibility is key. Now, all I'm saying, Chopper wants us to talk about the government's role and our responsibility. If the direction taken by the Prime Minister is the correct one, which is a process of engagement. He might plead to the man them for say, brother, we don't want to take away your freedom. We don't want expression and your right to it, but we are asking you to think about the ramifications of your actions. Think about those persons who adopt a literal approach to what you say and what that will do to Brand Jamaica, what that will do to families in the ghetto of youths who are probably some of them half educated and not able to appreciate that you're talking about a lyrical warfare and not a literal go take up a gun and go bust off a man. So he took the right approach, which is the process of engagement, to say, I'm appealing to you, be mindful of this reality. Let us put forward some things that are a little more uplifting and positive and see if we can change the mindset of the youths out there. Maybe if you start sing about how them can go make a money, you talk about eat a food in a way that could make themselves productive, then you will see more entrepreneurs being born. Certainly, we should not be feeding them a stable diet of, if you take up a gun and go do so, that farm, and if a man rub you the wrong way, then this is how you should respond, because that is irresponsibility and that must come with a price. Now, John, my thing is, as political people, we have to sit down, we have to give the space some time to work to see whether or not those we're appealing to are appreciating where we're coming from. Just like when we used to appeal to people, say, brother, easy the bad with them on the stage, the man, because young people are coming at the dance. Sometimes people look up at the screechy going to dance, so we know that. So stop feeding them so much bad word, no man, because the bad word make them irritable and thing. And people wouldn't listen. It came back down to enforcement, where police have to step on stage and lock up man for bad word. You don't have to go that route, because that, I believe, is colonial. I believe we should be able to engage each other. And all I'm saying to us is that the Prime Minister started the process by engaging, by appealing, by asking persons to consider, the power of the lyrics. If it is that they refuse and they believe, and that's why so much of them entertain and open their own studio, because you have enough man out there who are successful people. Donovan Jermaine and them people, they never carry certain things. So a lot of these young entertainers, they're producing their own music because they want to promulgate in discipline. Let's engage, engage, engage. Engagement is not working, then enforcement is just the only way.
Mr. Vegas, what say you? We're talking to the leaders now. We're talking to government policies and your responsibility.
All right. First, again, I just want I think Tyrone understand what we are trying to reason about. You understand me? I say Tyrone look on cause and effect. See, and we understand that. We understand cause and effect, brother. Well, what you're saying is, all right. I put you up on the spot now. Your mother is alive, right? Right, Tyrone?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Your mother is alive.
Yeah, my
right?
mom is alive. Yeah.
And she got church, don't? She got church, don't?
Yeah. Yeah.
She a Christian, so she got church. All right. You that play a song we say, if you run down a boy fit and you can't catch him, if you run that church, you're going to go kill him.
He's asking if you would play a song.
Me ask you if your mother go church, so me ask you say if you would have play a song.
Selector, yes. If that is running the show, yes.
Well, I'm on the brother reason. So what me I say now? So you go play a song, right? You say if a man war and you can't catch him, go in the church and shoot him. So you go in the church now and you shoot up a man in the church and your mother sit down beside and go sit down beside your mother and your mother gets shot, right? You'd have to play that song there again?
Why not? I'm saying let's be realistic. Come on. I'm not going to play a song because a man got shot beside at my mother. Huh? Come on.
So what on. Did you know, Tyrone?
I'm in entertainment because my brother got shot by a gunman. I'm not going to play a gunman song. I'm in entertainment. That is the aspect of entertainment I do.
Well, listen.
Since when killing people is entertainment?
Listen quickly.
Go again?
You have to understand.
Since when reinforcing the killing of people is entertainment?
I'm not going to sit and play a hypocritical vibes and say, no, it's that's around the dance. If we're going to play, come on, people. That's Vegas. That's around the dance. If Mr. Vegas sang a sing out hallelujah and it around the dance, if we're going to play.
But listen up, me I say no.
Come on, man.
You have to understand.
Like say we aim to play only this gunman song. We play all songs.
No, we not say that, bro. Bro, we not say that. We not say that.
Ask if a man gets shot beside my mother, if we play that song again. I mean entertainment, yes. I'm a sound system.
But that didn't mean say you were going. Tyrone.
Yeah.
We not understand, my brother. You not understand. You don't understand energy, bro. You need
not being real. Only not being real.
No, but you don't understand how energy works. You don't understand how energy works, bro. I say if you as a man will actually help disseminate this information throughout the universe, then it can actually come back and affect you, bro. So
and
you
I'm
have to understand
saying,
there's a place.
True. All of that is true, but it's still going to happen.
Right.
I'm
so
telling
you as a
I'm
person,
a dancer selector or an event selector. And because my parents or my mother or my uncle get shot by a gunman, I will play that song tomorrow just to see him.
I make the question easier. If every man starts singing "Say Man for Love Man," next year from record, to them want to get fouled because they say, yo, I this around the place, you know. So we are gonna try boss and we are gonna sing "Say Man for Love Man." See? You then play that.
Which man for love man? What kind of love you are talking
about? Stop it! Subi, stop it!
Listen. The comparisons them way I use. Can't work. Bossy. Me I want selector in a sound system business. And if a data run the dance, a data go get played. I'm auditioning
so who run the dance
for the next event.
Who run the dance, Tyrone?
Go again?
Who run the dance?
What do you mean who run the dance? The selector and the patrons.
All right, remember where we are now, Tyrone. We're gonna go to Eland. Vegas is back, so let's get back Vegas so we can finish up with Vegas. Come on, Vegas.
Come with a better and a different comparison.
Sorry. Hey, Tyrone, we have a lot of respect for you now. We have maximum respect for you. Go ahead, Vegas.
Because if we talk about each other, we not get anywhere.
Go ahead, Vegas.
You are saying, yeah, play what is popular, bro. That you are saying, that means say if.
But that is the business. That is the business. Come on.
So me ask you again. So what I know. So me ask you again. If you play what is popular, if singing say man and man good to go tomorrow, you gonna play.
You not set me up. Man, come on, this song.
All right. Leave that alone.
You not set me up.
Stop it!
The bottom line, a selector and a sound system, Mr. Ela. In dancehall, a selector and a sound system is what's popular, what's trending, and what is happening.
Let him have the hook, Vegas.
Let me let you off. Let me let you off.
A business me I do.
Let me let you off then. Let me let you off.
So only taking this thing wrong.
Let me let you off now. Hold on, brother. Hold on, brother. Let me let you off then. So if it's okay for, let's say, the man them start going at the Mosaic law then, and them start say, yo, woman to be stoned because some man come and start read the Bible and say, yo, we have an Old Testament, you know, yo, for a woman cheat if he get stoned. You hear that say that?
It now play now. It a play now. It a play now.
So you
And
support,
yes,
you
it a
don't
play
support
now.
that? You don't support that? You don't support that?
It's not a matter of support. I am not there to support or not support. You're there to enter. That's dancehall
So
music.
you actually
if
play a
me
song.
ever pick
So
out
hold on. Let me get this clear. So hold on.
You sing a song, right?
Hold on,
It's a
I'm not a dancer artist. I try to be a dancer artist.
You sing a song, you know. You sing a song where it's like a daggering song, you know.
Hold on, bro.
You're going to hold me, can't hear you.
What? You hear me now?
Yeah,
you hear me?
little better now.
All right,
Yeah.
so what me I say is, you have to me say, if we start sing, so because I want to be a dancer artist for you, accept me, you know. So what? If me write a song tomorrow, so if it starts stone women who cheat, you don't play it?
Vegas, you see, that's what I'm doing. You see, that's what I'm telling what you guys are doing. It's hypocritical. You make it act as if it's only gun song in the dance hall.
We never said that, bro. We never said that.
No, but you're going to ask me if you sing a song tomorrow about cheating or what have you.
Because you claim say you have to
song.
play what is popular. You say you have to
Then
play what is popular.
the dance hall song is... Listen.
If a song comes forward tomorrow popular, say if it starts stone women, would you play it? That me ask you.
Then why not?
All right, just let me answer. Pick up yourself.
Good enough for the Bible, why not good enough to play? Answer me. If it was good enough for the Bible, why not good enough to play?
All right, Tyrone.
Answer me.
Tyrone. You are the star of this show. Tyrone.
Entertainment we do. Entertainment.
All right.
And the truth is what run the dance hall is being played. It's nothing less. So when
I agree with you.
I'm not gonna tell you about no. Honestly speaking, let's be real.
Tyrone.
Run the dance hall play.
Tyrone. All right.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. Here's the deal, because what we have here, this look like we need to have a part 2. Tyrone, you have some solid points. I respect you because you hold your own. You say 4 against you alone. And you stand up. Hold on, man. You stand up like a real giant. Hold on, Vegas, let you have the hook, you know. So that's why I say we're going to come back for a part 2, because I'm not going to make you get to it. We're going to bring it back again.
No, man.
We need to have that discussion.
Hold
on, man. We love that. We love that about you. We love that. But I'm going to bring it back because Vegas only let you off temporary. I know I'm going to clap you next time. And I'm going to clap you good. I'm going to give you time to clap you. But hold on a second. All right. So we got about 10-15 minutes over the time. Let's hear from Elon, and then we're going to give everybody a final word and wrap it up. Elon, what's your take?
Look, you know, I listened to Tyrone, and Tyrone says he has 4 persons against him. Actually, Tyrone is the topic, right? And you have 4 persons who are now trying to understand why dancehall is the way it is, right? And to process that so that persons who are watching can be better edified about why we are where we are, right? So it's not about being against Tyrone. Actually, Tyrone is a good study, right, as to why dancehall is in the bad shape that it's in right now when it comes on to the spewing of the violent content that we keep hearing and keep having to have these discussions about, right? But going forward, we have to look at leadership in the sense that, okay, you know, who is going to, from this point forward, be part of the change that we so desperately need, right? And we'll have to just make some agreements, you know, right? Come to some quick agreements and some quick understandings and just move, right? So we have to look, for instance, and say, all right, so a man like Tyrone who thinks the way he does can be part of the solution. And that's okay, right? I mean, this ship just going to sail, leave him, right? I'm going to have to catch up at some point in time. But the truth is the ship going to sail, leave him, right? But then there are leaders, real leaders within our society who must now step up, right? and say that certain forms of lyrical content will simply not be allowed on the airwaves, right? And that, look, if you want to go and play your violent music and your sexually charged music in a dance, well, make sure that it's within 4 walls so that it's not permeating the walls of homes with children with impressionable minds, right? And we're going to have to start draw some lines. So the traditional dancehall space as we know it, right, where people can just string up a sound, get a permit or not, and play until 2 a.m., well, that might have to, be regulated along the line of the lyrical content that you're going to play. So fine, you want to play open air, no problem, but you cannot play any of this violent tunes. Why? Because it's not only the people in the dance who are listening, right? And for too long, we've ignored that aspect of how the violence permeates into homes. Because try as they might, a single mother or a nuclear family, right, raising a child and trying to inculcate all of these good ideals and morals, right? And what do you have? A sound system blaring 2 nights out of the week, and that picnic know every gun tune that was ever made, and the parent never taught him or exposed him directly to it, right? So what it means, therefore, is that leaders going to have to lead, right? We understand that there are followers like Tyrone. That's fine, right? They can catch up later. But right now, leaders must lead. And in as much as we are making social intervention where crime control is concerned, right? Trying to create safer zones within these troubled communities, right? We have to do something about the music at the same time. We have to ride and whistle, right? And in this process, some people go and get left behind. That's okay, because that is how societies move forward. I want to share with you a quote from, I think he's a philosopher called Kenneth Rexroth, right? And Rexroth said, "The mature man lives quietly, does good privately, takes responsibility for his actions, treats others with friendliness and courtesy, finds mischief boring and avoids it. Without the hidden conspiracy of goodwill, society would not endure for an hour." That's Kenneth Rexroth. And I use that quote tonight because within all of us must be that hidden conspiracy of goodwill, where we look into what is going out there to society, be it music, art, whatever form, and within our own selves ask, is this part of the kind of gentler, kinder society that I would want to see, right? How does this foster a better Jamaica, right? And if it doesn't, then don't follow it, don't promote it, don't be a part of it, right? Be the promoter of the hidden conspiracy of goodwill, because that's what's going to bring our country back, person by person.
Thank you very much, Elon. 30 seconds, Venetia, closing arguments.
Guys, we have a society that's in trouble. But as Elon said, leaders must lead. I will end with what I said earlier. The Prime Minister started with the process of engagement. Let's engage, engage, engage. Where engagement seem ineffective, we must then turn to enforcement. I'd rather the engagement process than having to resort to enforcement. The circumstances will dictate the approach taken.
Thank you so much. Mr. Vegas?
I just want to conclude by reminding, or just to put forward a point, something that happened to me in my career. Someone tried to book me for Qatar, and they researched my songs, and they would not let me in the country because I had a song called Hot Work. And I was like, what's wrong with that song? They're wrong with that song there. Well, later on in life, I get to understand that the people basically have a society where they don't want to spread or propagate certain type of verbiage or lyrics or whatever we want to call it in them society. And I understood when I went there without going there as an artist. I realized because the police them not have nothing to do. And them things I'm understand it. I say, yo, they would even let me in for come sing Hot Work. You understand? It was a big song at that time. Yeah? I say I like to say this now. See? We have to understand that this society is important to all of us. And whatever we can do to combat crime and violence, we have to just take the necessary steps. Then whether they are selector, whether they are radio man, whatever. And if the Prime Minister is serious about, or the government is serious about us as artists, putting forward better music, or maybe artists, because they don't really have me as nobody still. Because the brother say me and a dancehall artist. But if dancehall artists want to play a role in something here, you can't have no form of engagement if you're in a denial. You have to at least say, you know what? Make we accept that we are part of the social problem and how we can fix it. And the people who are playing the music, like what the Prime Minister, what the government can control, you have to reward people who are singing good lyrics with better airtime. You have to set a trend, because I remember saying if a man hear a commercial 24/7 on the radio and him start singing the commercial, So if man sing good music and it now get played, Phantom Moja go sing about them something we must sing about.
Tyrone, you got 30 seconds, my brother.
Mr. Vegas just hit the nail on the head again, but in the opposite way. Singing him ear-time, him good clean song then. You understand me? And him need the government to jump in and push good clean song. Sometimes I wonder why we waiting so long? Why we took so long? You understand me? So we're dealing with cures now instead of prevention. You understand me? All of us in it. And the cure people want to say for the money. And we help change. You understand me? I'm a provider for service. You get what I'm saying? And I don't feel that there's only gun song alone destroying the country or making the kids violent and are the weight they put on it. The weight they put on it. Every year we talk about entertainment zones, it's not done. You understand me? Too many persons fixing the problem for people and they don't know what the problem is or the cause of the problem. So we're talking about fix and do this and do that, but what is the root of the problem? Why? We need to do research before we come up with solutions, because you're only going to be fixing what you think is wrong. You understand what I'm saying? I just think that we need to pay attention to the youths, because them will be tomorrow people. Simply put.
Thank you. Well said, well said, well said, well said, well said. Well, let me say thank you. Thank you, Venetia Phillips. We keep you way past your bedtime. We really appreciate you being here. Elon Parkinson, as always, much respect. Mr. Vegas, big up yourself, enough respect. And we're definitely going to do this again. I hope when I call on you guys, you're always ready. I appreciate it. Peace.
Mr. John, remember that song that they did with Chosen? And he sang over, and it was Dovey Magnum sang the gospel version.
Yes.
What did the country do to it?
We talk about that when we come back next time. Tyrone, you're a champion, you know. You're a champion.
Check out it, Miss Phillips. That good gospel song. What they did.
I will certainly.
Gospel song.
Thank you very much, everybody. Peace. Have a great night, and we will catch you on the flip side. Peace.
All the best.
All right, there you have it, folks. That was perhaps one of the best one we've had in a long while. But let me give you my 2 cents just to close. I believe that we all have a responsibility. I believe that every single Jamaican, not just entertainers, not just dancehall artists, but business people, corporate Jamaica, everybody have a responsibility. It's called collective responsibility. And if every individual takes their role in this country serious and start with just your little area, your little corner, we can fight this monster called crime. And it might be simple, but you would never understand the effect that it can have when you start with just your corner. Look at the guy in the mirror, start with you, and we can take it from there. This was a marathon. We want to say thank you to everybody who participated. Thank you to everybody who shared. Thank you to all 300 and 450 of you who watched. And thank you for everybody who is still online even now as we speak. Angela Martin, big up yourself. All the newcomers, all the first timers to the chopping block. This is where we have some serious discussion on social issues, political issues sometimes, social issues sometimes. This evening we choose to go with social commentary. Next week, same time, same place. It will be bigger and better, as they say. And I tell you, that lineup for next week is going to be epic. So stay tuned. Tell your friend, tell your neighbor that the chopping block is back in full effect. Peace. We're out.
Hi, my name is Tanoya Boros, and together with my husband, Brenton, we started an online children's store called Shop 876 Kids. We pride ourselves in carrying the widest variety of children's items, including room decor, baby supplies, educational supplies, clothing, and every child's dream, the hottest and latest toys. Our ultimate dream for this business is to become the #1 resource for children items in Jamaica, and dare I say the Caribbean. But you know, they say if your dream doesn't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. Through my research, I found out about Sagicor Bank Payment Gateway Solutions, and I used it for my business because they had the best rates, excellent customer service, and they're a safe and reliable platform for my customers to use. COVID-19 has certainly changed our lives, but out of adversity comes opportunity. Look at me, pharmacist turned web developer turned website owner. Look for that need and supply that service or product.
All right, so there you go. We're looking through this comment section. We have a lot of people who came over from Vegas's platform as well. Thank you guys for tuning in, and don't be a stranger. Come back, like the page, the Chopping Block, and also our YouTube channel, Chops Media. Go ahead and like those channels so you can always be in tune to what we do. Peace, and we are out and about.